Hey everyone, Scottish Warrior 92 here, and welcome to the first ever clan project. Now, what a clan project is, I'll give a quick description of it, is I'm going to pick a topic that I think has a lot of precedence and a good amount of discussion with it. And I want the clan to get involved in this. And I'm going to give my opinion on the topic, and then what I would like from you is something simple. You can either do one of three things. You can leave a comment, tell me what you think of the topic. Do you think it's plausible? Do you think it's alright? Are you for it? Are you against it? Are you staying in the middle? You can also submit your opinion on the inbox as well. You can put it in the inbox or on my Facebook or my Twitter page. Twitter is at ScottishW92 and Facebook page. Well, all links are in the description. So if you want to go check it out. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I have a Facebook page now. Or what I would like to see is if you could do a video response. That would be really helpful. Because what I'd like to do is put some kind of like a little montage or something together of the different opinions on this topic out there. If they're just comments and messages, I will just read them out and say what other people's opinions. But if I do get a good amount of video responses, I will put them all together into some kind of montage showing the various thoughts on the topic. There was two topics that I was going to do, but I'm just going to do one at the moment because I think the other topic, someone else kind of done it better than me. I would. The topic that I'm going to talk about is the technology, fictional technology. Now, firstly, you're going to ask, what's this about? If you don't know, in August when Deus Ex came out, there was also a little documentary released by GameSpot. That dealt with how close are we to actually having augments, human enhancements for the human body, and prosthetics and a lot of stuff like that. And it was a very interesting discussion because it really showed the host of the documentary actually has a robotic eye that is actually a functional camera. He lost his eye in an accident and he had it replaced with an actually fully functional camera that records on the little thing he has with him. And he goes around and he sees all the different various advancements that we have in the different fields of technology, especially dealing with primarily one, the Deus Ex way, the human body, and showing different various levels that we are with this technology. And it is a very interesting thing. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you can go and check it out. It is really interesting because it shows that we actually aren't that far off from creating the basic augmentations, whether they be just for simple replacements of limbs, of eyes, other things as well, which is really interesting. One of the ones that I was really fascinated about was this one. I haven't watched it in a while, but I do remember this bit. A guy who'd been blind for most of his life actually got some kind of chip or something installed in his retina. It's very, very tiny, very, very, very small, and worth more than anything you can imagine. And what it allows him today is to see shapes, very faint, very delicate, barely distinguishable, but it is very interesting to see how far that technology could go. It could go even far as the smart vision that is in Deus Ex. And I found it fascinating that we are so close to that technology. Fair enough, we're in the basics of it at the minute, but if the right amount if it continues to go the way it is, that technology could be available to us within 50 years. Seems like a long time away, but if you think of it, it isn't. It would be available within my lifetime and within a lot of your lifetimes. And what I'm going to talk about is primarily, I'm going to talk about Deus Ex and I'm going to talk about the other stuff. The human body is such a fascinating thing. It adapts to evolution and we are still evolving to this day. Now this topic of replacement limbs or augmentations, I'll call them for this video, is quite controversial as well, because as Deus Ex shows that there will be people who are for it and there will be people who are against it, some on extreme cases. And of course the military implications are astronomical, but I'm not going to be talking about the military implications, I'm talking about the ones that could benefit humanity. Now, I'm lucky enough that I don't have any disabilities. I have both my arms and legs, I'm not blind, I can speak, I can hear, I can taste, I can smell, but there are a lot of people out there who suffer from disabilities, and while as I say, I don't view anyone with a disability less than anything else. I view everyone equally. No matter who you are, where you're from, if you've got a disability, if you're a different colour, or if you have different hair. I don't look at that. I look at you. I look at a person as a person. That is what I see. I don't mock a person because of the way they look or what they have or if there's anything wrong with them, which in my opinion there isn't. It's just people who are unfortunate to have these disabilities who are able to adapt and evolve, and I find it, I respect them for that. That they're able to adapt to a world that isn't suited for them. And I don't know what it would feel like if they had the option. This will be optional, of course, hopefully. I don't want to get forced to have augmentations. But the option of actually having the thing that they lost given back to them, like someone who had an accident and became blind at an early age in their life, and if they had the option to see again, would they take it? Wouldn't they take it? Also, we already have this technology I'm going to talk about, is giving people who are deaf the ability to hear. There is technology out there that can actually allow people who have been deaf for their whole life the ability to hear, which is an amazing thing. So we're already one step there. We can already kind of cure deafness, but as I said, it's still highly experimental and still in the prototype stage. But the idea is out there. If someone could get a replacement arm that is just as good as a human arm, that can do everything that a human arm, same with the legs. And of course you can enhance them, make them stronger, things like that, as evident in Deus Ex. But what I love about this idea is it gives, as I said, I don't view any one body type as the perfect body. The perfect body is a myth. There is no such thing as the perfect body in my opinion. There is no one template for the human body. I'm very adamant about that. There is no perfect template. There are things that you need to do to remain healthy. Fair enough. But I hate these people that say they've got the perfect body, and I'm like, there's no such thing as the perfect body. As I said, I'm not the most fittest guy here. I'm probably the least. I'm average, according to people, but I just view myself as myself. I like the way my body is. I'm not going to change it for anything. But as they say, is give people a chance to live. See, I don't want it to sound insulting. I really don't, because as I say, a lot of people are happy with the way their lives are, whether they suffer from a disability or not. But if they had the option to make their lives easier, to be, I don't like using the word normal, because normal is nothing. There's no such thing as normal in my opinion. Either perfection and normality don't exist in my opinion. But it's just that idea that they could make their lives a little bit easier and be able to, I hate using that word, but it's the only word I really describes it, to have a bit of a normal life. And I would love to see that. I think it's really nice that this technology could help a lot of people. But as we know, there are other implications to it, which I'm not going to go into, because I'm a hopeless hope. I hope a lot, so I tend to think of the goodness in people rather than the evil. So let me just finish off the human body. The augmentations, they show different various ones, which I am very fascinated about. From replacement knees that actually function the same way as the human knee, from elbows, fingers, stuff like that. It's very fascinating. I'd recommend anyone who's interested in that to go and watch it. Now let me actually get to the other spectrum of thing as well, about other technologies. I was just primarily going to talk about the Deus Ex technology, but I think there's a lot of admin to other technologies. As I said, there is a massive scientific debate going on almost every different type of advancement there is, from sci-fi, from Star Trek, Star Wars, Mass Effect, all the way around. You can imagine there are people who have dedicated their scientific career to making these things possible. And I think it's very adamant that they do that. But let me actually use an example of, a lot of people say, oh, the technology in Star Trek, Star Wars, Mass Effect, that will never happen, it's complete fiction. Let me actually tell you a little something that if you don't know this already. A while ago there was this was years ago, sorry, there was a documentary on the science of Superman. I shit you not, a full hour-long documentary about how the Man of Steel works. And people actually worked it out in their head from the theory of it. When an issue of Superman came out that actually dealt with the atomic bomb, splitting the atom. And at this time when it was released, no one ever thought that that would ever be possible. No one ever thought that splitting the atom would be possible. And this was so close to actually the Manhattan Project. A lot that the Manhattan Project and the government got wind of this. They were like, we can't let people know this. How the fuck did they know this? And they actually kind of pulled the issue, if memory serves me, because a few years later, what happened? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Very, very bad times. But the atomic bomb was actually first thought of, well, given to the public as an idea of something fictional, when in actual fact it was something that was actually happening. So that really puts it in mind. That technology, fictional technology, is creativity. What is it? What is the evolution of technology? Creativity. Doing things that were once thought impossible, but are no longer. I'm a big fan of this. Nothing is impossible. It just hasn't been done yet. Now, a lot of people say, but what about this, what about that? There's a lot of debate on this, what is possible and what isn't possible. But I'll say this right now. Nothing is impossible. I'm very adamant on that. There are some things that are like out of this world, but nothing's really impossible. And let me actually use one of the most common debates, the lightsaber. The idea for a lightsaber in Star Wars, everyone's wanted one. Everyone's bought a toy lightsaber, but everyone's always wanted a real lightsaber. You don't even lie to me. Everyone's always wanted a lightsaber. I wanted one. My little sister wants one. My mum my mum not so much, but near enough everyone wanted a lightsaber. And there are scientists who have actually written out the blueprints for a lightsaber. I'm pretty sure you can probably find it online somewhere. And they've actually went into great depth and detail on how to construct a fully functional lightsaber. Now, the technology to create it, we are nowhere near yet. We are close, but we're not anywhere near perfecting it. So think of that. The theory is there. The technology isn't. So if you say something's impossible, just have a long, hard think about it. The theory of it is there, but the technology isn't. And as a parent, I'm going to be using Mass Effect as a reference. Look at Mass Effect. The story of Mass Effect, the origin of how humanity got into space. They managed to evolve the technology enough to get to Mars, but any deeper than that was completely near enough impossible to them at that current time. But then they discovered the Prothean ruins, alien technology, and they were able to advance their technologies decades ahead of what they were. So think of that. I'm a believer that there is life out there in other worlds. I'm a believer of that. So just think, it only takes one major discovery to advance our technology. Decades ahead, sometimes even centuries ahead of what it was. So just think of this idea. What if we discovered it? What if we made a technology that would jump our technology decades ahead? One example of this is the Hadron or Hadron Collider, depending on how you want to pronounce it, that is in CERN, which is a scientific institution. Now, if you didn't know, this thing is designed to recreate the Big Bang. Small scale. Very, very, very small scale. I'm not talking about creating a whole Big Bang, otherwise it would all be dead by now. But they've recreated it, and they're trying to discover this particle that they've dubbed the God particle, the particle that allows creation. Now, of course, there's a lot of debate on this, but they are actually getting closer and closer to figuring out what this particle is. But at the same time, they've also finally discovered and, I think, created antimatter and protons. Photons. And if you've watched Star Trek, you know what that means. Antimatter is in warp engines in Star Trek. Photons are in photonic torpedoes. So the stuff is actually there to create that kind of technology, but we are nowhere near creating it, to contain it enough to create something that could travel faster than the speed of light. So that's what I think quite interesting, that a lot of these scientists, if you ask them what inspired them to get into science, a lot of them will say, I just fell into it, I enjoyed science at school. But quite a lot of them will actually say Star Trek, or Star Wars, or sci-fi. A lot of them will say that sci-fi got them into science, and if it wasn't for science fiction, they probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing. So, And a lot of them say that they do have their own little pet projects where they work on designs for the ships in Star Trek and the weapons and the engines being able to travel into deep space. And it's quite ingenious that a lot of them are actually putting a lot of time and effort into actually trying to make this work. So, my opinion on it is that I'm a big believer, as I say, is that nothing is impossible, that it just hasn't been done yet. And that's my honest opinion on it, that it only takes one major discovery to jump our technology, our modern day technology, centuries, sometimes decades or centuries ahead of what we are at the moment. So I think it's a really interesting topic that you can have a nice, reasonable discussion about it, that there are both pros, there are pro cons, there are positives, there are negatives, there are people who agree with it, there are people who don't agree with it. It all comes down to what you think. So that's what I'm asking out there. What do you think of this idea? Go and watch the documentary about the augments from GameStop first, and have a long hard think about it. What do you think? And do you believe that some of this technology and all these sci-fi things from Deus Ex, Star Wars, Star Trek, Mass Effect, all these sci-fis out there, do you think any of that technology could be possible? And unfortunately, I am a bit of an optimist. I am hoping that that technology will be available in my lifetime. I don't care if I'm a decrepit old man when it happens. I'm hoping that I'll at least see it before I die. I'm hoping that I'll at least see that technology before I die. I'm a bit of an optimist, I can't help it. But the odds are I won't see this kind of technology in my lifetime. It could be hundreds of years before we even this. I mean, even a millennia before we see any technology like the ones in Star Trek and all that. But just have a long hard think about it, about where we were technology-wise a century ago and where we are now. That have a big difference. Just have a long hard think about it and let me know what you think. Are you like me? Do you think that it is possible? Do you think that it could evolve and happen maybe one day? Or are you like, no, it's impossible, it won't happen for centuries? And I would like it if you could do a video response, but if not, just comment down below, go to my Facebook page, send me a private message, whatever you want, and let me know what you think. I think it's a really interesting topic that I think really deserves a lot of discussion, and I will create a film montage of it, either reading comments or putting videos together to create a film montage showing both sides of this argument, because I'm a big fan of there are two sides to every coin, and there are two sides to every argument. So let's get both out there. Never know, I might actually find a lot of people who actually agree with me, who disagree with me. Well, let me know what you think, and as always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and just want to say a big thank you to all of you, and if you haven't already, please don't hesitate to click that subscribe button up above and join the clan. We're growing in strength as always, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now. Let's begin the first clan project.